Okay, I am back. I even adjusted my exposure, so maybe it's not going to be blown out like it was when I was showing it before. And it's still kind of blown out, but not as bad. Um, Sammy's looking pretty good. This is the old Sammy. Doesn't look quite as good, but this is the cartoon character here. Um, and let's see if I can get him in the same. You can kind of see where he is. Again, there's concessions made for the puppet, but he's got a lot more life than the old one. Again, the mouth palette's toast on this thing, but he basically could just open and close his mouth. He's got oh my gosh, it's just awful in here. The whole thing is broke. It's just deteriorating faster than I can put it on my hand. He can't turn his head very much because he's all one body, one piece. This new one's going to be all one piece as well, but I'm going to, I got some ideas. So there he is. I want to show you guys a few things before. So last night I made some little plant-ons. I painted the eyes. I attached the eyes, but I'm going to remove them before I put the fur on. I also made some teeth for him, which are just pinned in right now, which is what those awful looking pins are. And I also made a quick nose that's just stuck on with double stick tape. But his eyebrows are glued on because the way his eyebrows work, at least on this puppet here, and the way I think it needs is they'll be under the fur, and then I'll have another darker brown or black fur that's on top of there. That's going to be the actual eyebrows, but I needed some bulk to stick that up. The ears will have wire in them, so they'll conform more like this, I think. And they may actually be bigger. I don't really know until it's done. So let me show you a few things. Before I put the neck tube on, I wanted to show you guys the inner workings of how those eyes are attached. You guys have seen me in other videos. I propoxy a post in there to the back of this Christmas ornament thing, and run a screw off of there. And then the thing I did this time, because I did place the eyes before I put the fur on, I glued the washer in so that hopefully I can find that hole again that way. But the other thing is that there's a neck ring here, which is of boning, and then I made a neck sleeve already, but I had to just like on Ralph, because he's got a weird neck, I had to elongate this from 3 inches to 5 inches. So I think I'm going to update the pattern online to reflect that, because I'm thinking that it's a little bit more useful to have a little bit more length to play with here. Okay, so let me take the eyes off and show you that. And the washer may pop off, but that was my plan anyway. So yeah, so it's just some propoxy in there with a nut, with a screw, machine screw sunk in there. And then I did rough it up before, so hopefully it'll stay. If not, I'll put some super glue in there before I put it on there permanently. And I may hit these with gloss black instead of flat black. I think the old one had it that way, but over the years, it's become, just because of light bounce and everything, they usually want flat colors on the eyes. So we'll see. If anything, I can just hit it with a gloss coat at any time, really. and they'll have a white pupil on there, or it's actually the reflection, it's supposed to be the reflection of the eye. But in the comic, people kept wondering where he was looking, so I ended up adding the white ring to, or a circle to address that. Okay, so now he's got his see, they're still glued in there. And I'm going to attach the neck room. Oh, I'm going to take the teeth out too. So these are now the final teeth may actually have to be bigger, but these are the teeth I carved out of, or I made out of L200. And the way I did that was I just took some scissors to it and kind of shaped it. And then I hit it with some 240 grit sandpaper and kind of smooth them out. So those are the teeth. I'm going to take his nose off too, which again is just stuck on with double stick tape. And that's basically what I'm going to cover. Oh, I guess I could take the ears off too. I'll take the ears off. These are all the plantons. When I make puppets, or when a lot of people make puppets, I think just about everybody, it's a lot easier to pattern the various components and then after everything's covered, put it all together. So rather than try and have to pattern this entire head with the ears on, the ears are a separate piece. But I kind of wanted to figure out for placement where everything was. And we will get to that in a later video. All right. So there's his head, which actually, the more I look at it, would actually work for a Fraggle pretty well too. But for this one, he's Sammy. Still making little adjustments here and there. Oh, and the upper lip is L200 as well. And I just hit it with some sandpaper, and it didn't have to be perfect, but again, I'm trying to make sure it's at least somewhat symmetrical. So yeah, so I just kind of shaped it. Oh, bonjour from Louisiana. Hello, how are you? So anyway, I'm gonna attach this this neck tube. So one of the things I used to do is I used to glue it in place and then run a stitch, but I've been experimenting around because I kept ruining all my pins by putting the glue on it, and it seems to work just as well to pin it in place, sew it in place, and then put the glue on after that. And because this stuff is so porous, you don't actually have to do the contact cement. You use contact cement, but you don't have to do the two-part and let it dry. It just kind of dries on its own and sticks. So yeah, so I line up the two seams, the seams on the head, and then I just kind of drape it on there, flatten it out. Yeah, I don't know who D&D Kobold is. I'll show you what he actually is. So I used to draw a comic strip called Melon Pool, and so this is what I'm building. Is this character? It's a giant hamster, and I have built him over the years. And this is the last version I built of him, which was back in 2006-ish. So yeah, so it's time. He's fallen apart, but I didn't have the gumption to rebuild him until now. All right, because this is dry fast or reticulated foam, I can actually sew into it. Now you can sew into the other types too, but it doesn't stay as well. So, but it's a good reinforcement for the glue, because it's good to have it's good to have a couple different, especially with this, which gets a lot of abuse, to have a couple of different ways to secure it. So I sew it and glue it. So if the glue comes unstuck, then the stitches save it. And if the stitches come unstuck, the glue saves it. That's kind of the idea. But you could make cobalt out of this if you wanted to. I mean, it's kind of the same process. It's whatever you're trying to build. I'm actually going to be reusing, I did a Benjamin Franklin a couple months ago, and I'm going to be reusing that pattern as a starting point for another character. So it's good to save your patterns, and you can always modify them a little bit. The last few puppets I've been showing on this feed have been other puppets from this comic that were in various states of disrepair, and I made repairs. I built a couple from scratch, and then I made a bunch of repairs, and then this one is the last of the 6 that I had to rebuild. All right. So I'm just going to run a whip stitch. All the way around this thing. And I'll take out the pins as I go. But because this stuff is so porous and doesn't tend to rip, you can actually sew into it pretty easily. And about every inch, I tie a knot. That's the idea that stitch and time saves 9. Because if the thread breaks, then it'll only break till the knot. Nobody will ever see this, so if it's not pretty, it's not pretty. Ouch. That's why I removed the pin as I get to it. Dungeons and Dragons kobolds are little lizard people who think they're part dragon. Sometimes they have big ears. Oh, that's cool. In the comic, it was always a joke that people mistook him for Bigfoot. And so, and sometimes I did jokes where he looked like, where people thought he was Alf. But in reality, he was the giant hamster that ran on a wheel and powered their spaceship. Do you build puppets? Oh, you have puppets. That's cool. Well, there's time. I didn't start building puppets until I was 24 years old, or 22. I don't remember now. I think it was 20. I think it was 22. And then I worked professionally for about 25 years. I got to tie this off and get a new piece of thread. This was getting too short. That's the only reason. Yeah, I only started working on this puppet on Monday. So you can still see the earlier parts of the process if you want. They're archived on YouTube and on Facebook for a couple of weeks. On YouTube, it should be indefinitely, hopefully. So the original, this older one, was just before I started working professionally. So so it doesn't have lining, it doesn't have a good mouth plate, doesn't have good arms. Looks halfway decent, but you got a lot of problems. These are a lot of the same techniques that they use over at the Muppets and a bunch of the other places. We all kind of do the same thing. Almost done. See, the next step, well, I'm on this fence. I think what I'm going to do is work on the body, but I was thinking I might try to cover the head today. But in thinking about it, if I cover the head, I don't really know what the shape of the body is going to be yet, so that might be problematic. So I probably should make the body. Okay, I'm not as far along as I thought I was. Oh, yeah. I'm almost done. I never have thought of doing that, but that's a good idea. He's asked, ever thought of building puppets for D&D games? I mean, that's a good idea. I mean, there certainly are a lot of interesting characters. I haven't played D&D for years. I played a little bit in high school. I build all kinds of crazy things. I built a C-3PO puppet and a Zoidberg puppet, Dr. Zoidberg. A couple of replicas, Rosa the Robot from the Jetsons. So I've done stuff that, I don't own the IP for. So D&D would be a good other thing to look into. All right. Well, I got all that done. Now I got to add glue. And I got to put my respirator on and open the window. Luckily, I don't have to glue very much.
This might be the last of the glue for a while, too. So this is stuff called contact cement, and usually you use it where you put it on the foam, 2 pieces of foam, or on the fat, or whatever you're gluing. Let it get dry, and then stick them together. But in this case, because this fabric is so porous, you can just brush it on like this, and it'll set up. And it just basically is one more layer of protection to keep this neck sleeve in place. And it'll seep into the foam and into the fabric. Give it a little bit more light. It'll also kind of smooth out this transition a little bit so that you can't see it under the actual final fabric. All right, that's done. Really? Oh, that's cool. I read your thing just a second.
You said the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is getting re-released. That's really cool. I saw that one when it was brand new. And that has to dry for a few minutes, and then that'll be set. So, yeah. Part of it is showing some behind-the-scenes footage of how the Jim Henson Creature Shop made the Turtles and Splinter. That's cool. Yeah, those suits are pretty awesome. The fact that they were able to fight in them, or do stunts and choreography in them, and still have them look right. And I think in the first movie, at least, all the animatronics were in the shell and kind of came up. And by the second one, they had advanced so much that they had most of the mechanics up in the head. So, have you seen those suits as they exist now? Some of them are in private collections, and they've deteriorated in some very interesting ways. Very Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, so that's set up now. So, oops. So yeah. So there he is. Can't see anything because he has no eyes. Hey, Laura, how's it going? All right, so let me get another stand. So here's where he's at. Again, he's so blown out. Let me turn this off. That's a little. Yeah, glad to see you there. I basically just put the neck tube on, and then I was showing how the eyes worked and everything before I took those off. I'm gonna pattern out the body now, I think, and I think it's gonna be almost like a half foam body, probably out of L200 down here like a salad bowl, and then I think it's gonna be a series of rings like a sack puppet up here. Because one of the things I didn't like about this original puppet, I mean, it was good back. Number one, it's seen some better days, but he's got so little mobility in his neck, and his body's just like a lump. It doesn't really do anything. So I think if I make it out of a couple of rings to this point, and then the belly down here out of foam, that'll give him a little bit of movement, and I think it'll work a little bit better. At least that's my plan. Okay, see, and the real cool thing is that they did an upgraded turtle effects in less than a year. Yeah, that is really cool. Oh, I want to show one other thing before I go too much farther. So this is the pattern that I used for this, or for the original one. This is what I pulled off of the prototype. And then I made some modifications, and this is the one that this one actually is. And you can see what I did was I fixed the mouth because the mouth was shut, which makes it harder to manipulate. And I also added some more bulk up on his upper lip. So there's that. But the other thing that I did, when I was going through all my stuff, I found Sammy's patterns for this last one. And I want to show you this just to show you the way I've evolved as a builder. All right, so that's his head. This is his hand, which I may actually use on this puppet. And there's his chin. And there's his nose. So the way this original pattern, I'll shut that window just a second. Ooh. Sorry, I'm trying to, uh-oh. Now I've done it. See, this is what happens every time I try to adjust these cameras. Just a second. Okay. That's even worse than it was. All right, that's what I'm trying to get to. Okay. So pull this off a little bit. Okay, so this is the initial pattern. This is the revised pattern. And then this is how the original one was put together. Like this. So this is his snout, which is a different piece of foam. And this is how I got that curve that goes here. This is what this dart does. And then this is how I made his head. And even though this looks bigger, it's not that much bigger than the one I built. So it's interesting that this type of patterning has evolved, but I guess it should in 20 years. So this goes together like this, and then this sticks on like so, and then it's got the lower top. So I'm glad I didn't. Originally, I was going to start with the original pattern and then rework it from that, but looks like I made the right call and started from scratch. Am I excited for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2? Maybe. We'll see. I enjoyed the first one. Okay, so let me get started on figuring out his body. I think I have a pattern from his original body that I can at least start with. So glad that I put all this back. So that's the way his original body was foamed out. It was just these 6. I'm wondering what this is. I think what I did is on the back, I cut out one piece so that it would kind of move in. I think it went like this, but I think I can use this bottom part. Maybe not. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out. I want his body to be about a foot around, 12 inches. So I think what I'm going to start with is a piece of paper and try and figure this out. Sorry, this is just all part of the process. Okay, so this is what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to make a ring of there's going to be 3 rings of boning. And then down here, there will be almost like a salad bowl out of foam that goes like this. So I'm going to need some shapes that look like that for this. And I want the round here to be 15 inches total for the whole thing, 15 around here. So it's going to be 6 pieces. So 15 to put me in my phone because I'm dumb. So 15 divided by 6. That's not right. 15 divided by 6, 2.5. So these need to be 2.5. And I want this to be, that would be 12 times 3.14. That would be, oh my gosh, that's huge. Let's say 36. And then 36 would be here. And then this would be 36 divided by 6. All right, so what I need is I need a shape like this that's 6 and 2.5 at the bottom. So let's try that. Again, this is the way my mind works. Sorry, that wasn't. Okay, so piece of paper. And his body's going to be I want to say about, well, the old one is 12 inches tall. So let's just start there. So I'm going to say 6 inches tall for this piece. So it's 6 and 6. And then I want half of 6 inches, which would be 3 inches. See, I don't even need my calculator for that one. And then I need maybe 2.5, and half of that is 1.25. And then I want a curve. I'm going to actually try and use a French curve, even though I have no idea how to actually use this. But let's see what looks good. Something like that. So that's where we're going to start. Okay. Let me get some foam. We'll start mocking that up. And the way I came up with that number at the bottom was I knew that my neck ring was 15 inches across, so I wanted to make sure it fit about the same. At the end of each one of these sessions, my whole workspace is just destroyed. Every day I have to clean this room. Let's get these out of the way. It helps having this other puppet as kind of a starting point, because if there's a measurement like this that I need kind of a rough estimate of, it's pretty easy to take measurements and know what didn't work and what did. So you know what? I'll put a registration mark in that so that I can line everything up. I probably could just draw a big line and just put these on here back to back like this. Now, if this is the final, I'd want to use a brown pen so they wouldn't show up through the fur. But this is just a prototype. And I could cut these on this bandsaw, but I'm not going to do that. So it makes for bad video. Okay. All right. So. Yes, this is upholstery foam because it's considerably cheaper than the dry fast. The dry fast is about $50 for a sheet, and the upholstery foam is about $11 for a sheet. And this will probably be made out of either L200 or EVA foam, this bottom part, because it needs a lot of structure to keep that fur in line. I doubled that piece for some reason. Oh boy. Really, I just want to make sure everything fits together. This isn't going to go through a lot of revisions. I might clip into it and change some sizing here and there, but this is probably pretty close to what I'm going to end up using, unless it doesn't work at all. Okay. So this already looks huge. Now let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes together. Okay, the window's already open. I need to shut that door. I shut the door so the dog doesn't have to inhale these fumes. The dog. I meant Tilly. Okay.
I actually bought some thinner finally, so I'm gonna try and thin this this barge out as soon as it comes. I have a feeling this is going to be way too big. But you got to start somewhere. He hasn't run on his wheel for 12 years, so maybe he's put on a little weight. Still managed to put on too much glue. All right. Okay, let's see what type of monstrosity I just created.
Okay. Okay, how much over or under do you think this is gonna be? I was looking for a 12-inch diameter or thereabouts at the waist and 14 or 15 at the bottom. Put your bets in now. Probably could have just used Zoidberg's body. Okay. And I made a lampshade. It's a little big at the waist, but it's not terrible. All right. Oops. So there's his head. And it's a little big, but not terribly so. I think if I cut about I think that all over it needs about that much. Sorry, that. Let's try it with 5. Let's see what it looks like. Where's the one that I messed up? Okay, so the top, that's actually pretty close. That's pretty close to what I want. I think the bottom's too small now, but that's pretty easy to fix. Top's still kind of big too. Okay, so the taper's not right. Okay. Let me adjust that pattern and reglue the whole thing. But for those of you that want to have a salad bowl pattern, there you got one. Okay. I'm going to take about I think I'm going to try that. Well, you had to start. I had to start somewhere. You know, until you like take a chance and start with something, you never really get anything done. So it's like I usually just take the leap and make corrections. Okay. I'm gonna put another. Will you use a smaller piece with the 5 or 6 sections? I think I'm going to use 5 because that seemed like it was a better fit. It fit at the bottom fine. Math lied to me. I'm sure there was some basic thing that I did wrong, when I was tabulating that. I usually don't like to have like just these wedge patterns as my final pattern, but unless there's something major I do to change the shape, I don't see any reason not to. Probably just, you know, where's my knife? Since this is going to be L200, I can heat form it to make it more round too. I just got to get the kind of the basic dimensions I need. I think I have a cup the same shape. Yeah, I won't. I haven't even found the pattern. I haven't even found the pattern yet. I saved so much ink by just not labeling anything till it's approved. No, I'm just kidding. I just cut the original pattern. I don't care. When am I going to need to make it a lampshade? Okay. There's my new one. See, I think the final puppet is all going to be one piece. It's not going to have a separate head. So that's why I have to make the body before I can pattern the head. The pattern the skin or the fur.
Yeah, but it's probably not the best advice. I at the end of the night put a little Goo Gone on my fingers and kind of rub it off, and then I have this lava soap that I use to get the bulk of it off.
If only I had gloves within 18 inches of my desk. That I do have gloves right within 18 inches of my desk. I always forget to put them on. And get this is how I get thread stuck to my fingers. All right. I'm actually kind of wondering if I might need to use one of the old patterns for one of the panels to give them a little bit of a butt. So that looks too thin now. Well, we'll see. I may just need to futz with it a little bit. Okay, so that is too thin. But actually it's not a terrible shape. I think I'm going to put some wedges in here and see if I can salvage this. So my thinking is, instead of this shape, what I need is something more like, so this is the shape I have now. I think I need something more like that you can barely see. I think that's what I need. So let me make a little wedge and see if that'll help it. Sorry, I'm just trying to think this through. What have I got myself into here? So I think if I relax that out, yeah, I think that'll do it. We'll see. I'm just going to do a few of them and see how it affects the shape. If it does, then I'll have my pattern.
Another way I could go about this is I could make a big tube and a bunch of darts in it to round it out. But this is such a simple shape, I would think I would be able to find it. Mm.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to do this all the way around, but I do think that that curve needs to be more. Looks like he is on granny pennies now. Yeah, okay. That informs it for me a little bit. Start over from scratch. This is the original. I gotta throw away this pen. I think that's basically what I want. But I mean, the good news is foam is pretty inexpensive. It's not as inexpensive as it used to be, but it's fairly cheap to prototype stuff out of. And I think it's a little too tall too. So I'm gonna take off the half an inch. Let's try that. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Okay, I'm going to do something I said I was going to do on the first one, but I did not. The rate I'm going, I should probably write the time on these things. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a fifth one. I just didn't have space for it on here. I think I went through the same thing 20 years ago when I made the original puppet. So my plan is at this stage is once I find this, then I basically am going to make a jersey mesh sock that goes up this far and figure out where the two bands of boning. I know the top bones, the top one, but the center one will be in between this and that. And then it'll just basically be fabric from here to here and foam below the waist. But I'll do that top part offline and come back to bar and show you how it went.
I just want to figure out his belly. In my belly. The bad news is I really don't know what the shape's going to be until I see it. I suppose I could do it half size. And then once I have the top part and the bottom part figured out and attached to the body, then I can pattern the skin on top of it and have the shape that I need it to be, rather than doing the skin and then trying to fit all this inside, which I think is what I end up doing the first time.
Hopefully this is, because I kind of like the shape of the original one, but it was way too big. And then the second one was the right size, but I didn't like the shape. So hopefully this is kind of the in between of the two. He's basically got Garfield's body, is what I'm trying to build. I think I did it. That looks pretty good to me. All right, awesome. Okay, so that's going to hang on there like that, at that angle. So I'm actually probably going to taper it. Yeah, I'm going to taper it a little bit. So let me do that. Okay, so his body will be like that at the bottom. This will be L200. Have 2 rings. Maybe just a little bit out of this. No, that's pretty good. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. I want the butt in the back like that. I want that to be the front. Yeah, 2 rings going up, like so. Like that. Give me a body that's similar to what I'm doing. Maybe just a little dart out of this front. I'm almost there. I almost got it. I can smell it. It's not just the barge.
So it looks like this is going to have a pattern after all. Which is good. It'll make it easier in 10 years when I want to rebuild this couple.
All right. I think that's at least figured out the salad bowl part. So, sorry, I can see it more than you guys can. So that hole needs to be a little bigger too. Sorry, I can visualize it better than you guys can, but I think this is going to work. So imagine two rings here. It slopes up like so. Back here like that. And then fabric on top of that. And I think that'll do it. So I got some work ahead of me. But you can at least kind of see my process. Let me fix that real quick. I'm going to fix this circle. I think it's just a matter of rounding these out. I'm trying to get this straight on so you can see what I'm doing here. That'll be the front of his body. And that'll be the back. And a couple of rings going around. And then that should, because of the rings, give him enough play that he can actually move his neck and everything. It looks like Audrey too. All right. Well, I got some work ahead of me. And tomorrow, you'll see the fruits of my labors. I'm starving, and I don't know that there's not just going to be endless repeating of this for a while until I get the shape right. But yeah. All right. I'll show you what I did tomorrow. And thanks for tuning in. See you later.